Hey YouTube, Mike here. It's my first video, and I figured I'd do a quick video of my woodworking shop in my garage. It's a two-car garage off my house in Florida, and I've been doing woodworking for over 20 years. I'm actually a plumber by trade. My grandfather was a spiral staircase maker and a cabinet maker, and I used to love going to work with him when I was younger, and I just took it on as a hobby. So yeah, let's start the tour. Let's start with my air. It's 5.5 horsepower, 25-gallon compressor with a few different hoses. I got one hose comes directly off the tank, then through a regulator moisture trap up to a reel, and then over on the wall right above the MFT3 table is a coiled hose I can stretch out to the middle on my assembly table. My table saw is about a 5-year-old rigid 10-inch table saw, which actually will be leaving this week. I purchased a 1 3/4 horsepower saw stop with a 30-inch crosscut. My vacuum system, which is just for the table saw, is a Rikon 1 3/4 horsepower. It's on a rolling cart, so I can take it out and clean it, empty it. My rigid 16-gallon shop vac, which is basically just for cleaning up of the shop and also for attaching to the router table, my planer, and a sander, which is below the Capex. My clamps used to be on a rolling clamp, but it became so heavy and it was also taking up real estate. I had a bunch of those Gladiator cabinets that actually lined this whole wall. I took it all down. Today I built and mounted the clamps on the wall, and last week I did that wood rack to get it off of what used to hang from the center of the ceiling, and then mounted my tools, my woodpecker tools, the measuring. Inside of the Gladiator cabinet I have some pen turning stuff and sanding. Okay, my planer, which is a rigid, mounted on a DeWalt rolling cart. The Capex Festool saw, which is also on a rolling cart. It used to be mounted on a very long bench that was here, but again, it was taking up a lot of room, and now I just take that, roll it directly in front of the MFT table, and then the CT26 with the boom arm, I can plug it in, hose, and I can do my chop saw right in front of the table. My rigid sander. Like I said, I have an old CT22, actually, excuse me, that I purchased off of eBay, and that was before I picked up the CT26, and I just use it to dedicate it underneath the MFT table. The Assist 4 has all vacuum attachments, hoses, tubes, elbows. I have a couple of empty sustainers in the back, and those two sustainers, one has got electrical and one has cabinet hardware. My sawhorses, which are DeWalt. Then I have just some random tools, my Craig clamps on the wall. My table, outfeed table, is a Craig workbench, which actually I'm going to modify once the saw stock comes in. And then next to it I have a Craig assembly table with clamps mounted onto that. Automotive stuff for my jack and oil and stuff, jack stands underneath. Keeping my also more cabinet hardware in some Rubbermaid storage. On top of the CT vacuum system is the Workstation, which actually works out very good when you move it out towards your assembly area. You have some tools on it. I used to have a 16-inch old Delta that actually the pedestal cracked, so I just purchased this Jet bench top, which I put onto a rolling cart, a couple of drawers for drill bits, and some storage below for just miscellaneous jig pieces. My Craig Foreman, which is a phenomenal tool. I probably have done, I've already gone through a bit, and it's under a year old. I use it all the time. It is so fast. Hook it up to the CT vac hose and away you go. my small jet lathe. I do a bit of pen turning, do some shaver stuff. So that's just mounted on a shelf system. I just did this whole rack about 2 weeks ago. I purchased, what did I purchase? About 30 Festool drawer system. I have actually 7 more coming in. That's going to be for this right here. These, not those 2, those will be on top. But I have 5 more going there, and then 2 more going on top of the actual sysport that I also purchased from eBay, which was heavily damaged. But I got a few hours of work on it, and I got the drawers to work. The all the sustainers mount very nicely into the drawer system. They work very well, as you can see. Just pull, the whole system pulls out, and it actually locks in through a little clip right here, that the lever mechanism. I do have quite a bit of sortainers, all my screws, and various pieces of hardware. I have the rolling cart with the sortainers on it. I have a Craig router table with a 1 3/4 horsepower Porta-Cable router, a Jessam lift, and Jessam hold downs. They work very well, but the heat here in Florida, I have to purchase new rubber for it, which I ordered through Jessam, and they should be in a couple of days. Keep some storage above. I am also a very big Milwaukee. We use a lot of Milwaukee tools in the plumbing industry, and I use a lot of Milwaukee tools here, drill bits, drills, some of my radio control cars. Inside of that Husky box is paint and stains and glue, brushes, CA glue, so on and so forth. My chisels for my lathe, my cordless nailers. I just purchased that, which is a brad nailer, Milwaukee, and that is the finish nailer from Ryobi. Had a problem with the brad nailer from Ryobi. It kept jamming, so I just brought it back and picked up that. It's quite a bit more money, but it works really, really well. I highly recommend it. I could do a review on it. It is a very nice tool. My Craig clamps. The 2 hammers, actually, the smaller hammer was my wife's. She loved hammers, and I gave her one for Christmas, the 16 ounce. The other side of the shop is my track, my apron, and my coat that when I do turning. Some exotic wood television. Need to watch something. My NASCAR favorite, Jimmy Johnson, my wife's Junior. The other 2 sys drawers, I'm going to build a small sys port for the planer and for the bandsaw. Some more clamps, battery chargers, more Milwaukee lights, batteries. The glue gun is a Ryobi, 18 volt. Works very well. Probably used about 6 glue sticks through it the other day. Not one problem with it. The toolbox is actually an old Husky that I purchased about 12 years ago. Now they make it in black from Home Depot. Good, very heavy duty. The 2 outer boxes and the cabinet are actually from Harbor Freight. They mate very well onto it, but mostly automotive tools in there. There is some woodworking and some plumbing stuff in there. In that cabinet is all nuts, bolts, a lot of automotive stuff, a lot of automotive appliance pieces, bulbs, fuses, oils, a couple of rock crawler cars that I have, other radio control stuff, chargers, my radio. Actually, that box, I have been making slot car boxes, which I've sent all around the world. And that's my slot car track above my garage. It's 5 by 10 foot. My son and I bring it down, set it up on sawhorses, and we can race. But the boxes are made out of wood, and they hold the slot cars and the parts. And I've been doing that for probably 20 years. Sent them all over the world. More nuts and bolts, my pen equipment, my sharpening. I keep all my, in that box right there, I keep all of the instruction sheets for all the tools. And then I have my fluids, ammo boxes with ammo. And then my Raycon 14-inch bandsaw. It's a very good bandsaw. Have it about 3 years. I just put this Craig fence on it, but you have to remove the fence because you cannot remove the blade. And I didn't know that until I went to put a brand new blade on. But I keep a 3/8 blade on it. I don't resaw. I just do curves straight. That's really all I use it for. So if I have to change the blade, you know, it takes like 30 minutes. But I can hook up the shop vac to it. It does pretty good. Some of my lumber, I don't really keep a lot of lumber. I keep just stuff that I need, and I buy what I need to make a project. And then my grinder, which is just a regular grinder, more jacks. And in the cabinet, I keep oil and other stuff, automotive. Some lights, chocks, gloves. But that's it. That's my shop. If you like something, if you want to see something in detail, just shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to show you. I'll be posting the video once I get the saw stop in. And that's it. I hope you like it, and take care. Bye-bye.